Hi, I'm Justin and welcome back to Just Shaves. For this video, I've got yet another aluminum side-by-side comparison. This time it's going to be the Olly Works Meteorite compared against the Colonial CR7. These are my two favorite aluminum razors, and this comparison is really just going to be to decide the GOAT of my collection, which aluminum razor is the best overall that I have. Colonial CR7 I haven't spoken much about on this channel yet. I've had this razor for little over half a year now. Upon receiving it, it was immediately the best aluminum razor that I had ever used. Excellent comfort, excellent efficiency to comfort ratio. Like it kind of just blew the rest of my collection out of the water. Since getting this one, I've even acquired a few others such as the Ellsworth Apex, Carve Bison, Henson Aggressive. As much fun as I've had with those other ones, this Colonial CR7 has been ahead in my books. The Olly Works Meteorite is the first aluminum razor that I've purchased since the CR7 that, upon using it, I thought was on par, if not exceeding the CR7. So I've been very antsy to kind of just do a true side-by-side and see which one of these I overall prefer. Honestly, I've been kind of nervous about doing this video because I was worried that I'd get to the end of it and just say, both are smooth, both are good, but I not really be able to differentiate the two. I think I've got enough shaves under my belt with both of these where I think I have enough helpful insights to actually do a valuable comparison. But before I jump into the shave, I'll kind of just go through some of the specifics with each of these. So Colonial CR7, it only comes in two colors, black and silver. If you buy, the black, silver, and they have three base plate options, just 1, 2, and 3. For this comparison, I'm going to be using the 3. The 3, for me, kind of feels like a daily driver, well-rounded range. It doesn't feel as aggressive as the name would suggest. But if you buy just one of the base plates and one of the colors, it's $72. If you were to add on another base plate, each base plate is $22. So, if you were to get two base plates, you're looking at $94. Yet they offer a bundle to get all three for $90. So when I was buying this, I had a feeling I was going to like the 3 plate, but just out of curiosity, I knew I was going to want to try the 2 at some point. So I went ahead and bought all 3 plates for the $90. With this particular razor, it feels like functionality was like the main point when they were designing this. There's not a lot of flash. This isn't like a shiny razor that you're going to show off. They really designed this just with functionality in mind. It's got a nice thick handle. The knurling's pretty simple, but it works. Like I haven't had any issues with the grip or slipping at all. In terms of the design, the thing I think they got right about this particular razor is how well it clamps the blade. So hold it off to the side here and you can kind of see, I have a blade in here now. The blade isn't exaggeratedly bent, like there's some, like a normal bend to it, but this top cap is really elongated and it's meeting out further to the edge of the razor blade and it's clamping really far out. Similar to how the Henson does or the Ellsworth or the Bison, all the razors that clamp the blade really well, the top caps are extending out really far to really hold that blade firm. Another thing this one does, and you can see it here just a little bit, the edges of the blade are also being clamped down by the base plate. So the top cap and base plate are just really firmly holding down this blade. And there's basically zero blade chatter, and it makes for a really predictable and smooth shave. And this is on the aggressive plate according to their scale. So again, the 3 plate on this one still has fantastic clamping, makes it very predictable, kind of similar to using a Henson where the blade's not going to wiggle at all or chatter while you're shaving. What this one does differently from some of those other fixed angle razors I've highlighted is this still has a rounded top cap. So there's very minimal drag or friction whatsoever. Like this is a very smooth shaver, yet they managed to clamp the blade really well and make it for a very predictable shave as well. While I'm using this, for the efficiency I'm getting even on this 3 plate here, there's almost no blade feel. So the most aggressive plate still has very little blade feel. And if you go down to the 1 or the 2 plate, there's almost no blade feel. So if you don't like having, the sensation of feeling the blade against your skin, this razor is going to be an absolute winner for that. And I can say that compared to really any razor, not just the aluminum space, they did this better than most razors out there. Moving on to the Olly Works Meteorite. I've highlighted this one a few times, and I'll show just a little difference in the head geometry here. There's more bend to the blade, yet the top cap doesn't go quite out as far as the CR7. So this one's getting its blade rigidity from curving the blade rather than clamping it. So this one is also still very smooth, very predictable. Regardless of which of the 3 base plates you're using, you're going to get a very predictable shave. Yet, while you're using it, there's still some blade feel. Not a lot relative to the efficiency. I think it's about what I'd expect from having used a number of DE razors. The blade feel is very much in alignment with the kind of the efficiency level of the razor. Colonial CR7 is kind of a unicorn where there's hardly any blade feel, yet you're getting a lot of efficiency out of it. Let's see, any other things I want to highlight? Weight of the 2 razors, this one's 40.5 grams. This one's 44 grams, I believe. Overall weight feels about the same in the hand. No issues with gripping either of these 2 handles. Aesthetics, I'll leave that up to each individual person to make their own decision, but functionally, both of these razors just feel good in the hand, work very well. My biggest complaint with the CR7 is with the 3 base plates, the 3 plate feels like an awesome, well-rounded daily driver range plate for me. There's some days where I kind of wish I had a little bit more razor, and there isn't a 4 plate. So at least for me, this 3 plate kind of feels like it should have been their medium, and I'm wishing they had made one that was a little bit more aggressive. I've used the 2 plate a few times as well. It's awesome, even less blade feel, even more comfortable than the 3 plate. However, the 3 plate's already so comfortable that I haven't really felt the need to go down to the 2 plate that often. When I'm reaching for just a comfortable razor that I know is going to give me a very consistent result with no nicks, no cuts, no irritation, I usually turn to this 3 plate, and I don't even need to reach for the 2 plate. Now, the 1 plate I've used once or twice just to say that I've used it. I don't really feel the need because this is already such a smooth, comfortable razor. The OliWorks, on the other hand, with their 3 base plates, I think they got the range just right. The medium one, to me, feels like the well-rounded daily driver range razor base plate. And the aggressive one, while still being very comfortable, just ups it up just a little bit more. You get a closer shave that way. And then on the flip side, the mild plate, while not shaving quite as close, allows you to just move a little bit quicker. So at least for me, the 3 base plates of the OliWorks, I kind of have a use case for all 3 of them. And, if you're on another end of the shaving spectrum, I think there's a good chance of this working well for just about anyone. Whereas this one, if you want a more efficient shave, it doesn't go past this 3 plate, unfortunately. So if you're in the mild to medium range, this is still a very comfortable razor. But it's, I kind of wish they had another base plate that went up a little bit higher. But overall, both of these razors are 2 of my favorites. No drag, no friction. Both are incredibly smooth shavers. This one, on the other hand, is just going to have less blade feel than these OliWorks. And then the trade-off is that there's not as many useful base plate options, and then it's going to cost a little bit more. So OliWorks is already winning on that front. With that, I'll pause right here. I've kind of rambled on about these 2 for quite a while now, so I'll pause right here. I'll get lathered up and I'll do a true side-by-side between the 2. All right, I'm back and all lathered up. We're gonna go with the Colonial CR7 on the 3 plate on the right side. Using an Astra Superior Platinum blade, I think on this like second or third use. I've been losing track. Or rather, I don't really keep track. Again, this whole razor, this is its version of the aggressive plate, and it's just smooth, comfortable, yet efficient enough that I can kind of get as close a shave as I like getting after 2 passes. Like, I can hear the blade cutting, but there's not a lot of blade feel on my skin. Again, that's just about 1 pass done. I will switch over to the Olly Works now for the left side of my head. I mentioned during the intro, but not so much during the shave, the CR7 with its head design doesn't have a lot of friction. Olly Works definitely does not. This one just glides. More so than the CR7, in my opinion. And with a little bit more blade feel, but not enough to be uncomfortable or bitey. Like it feels right while I'm using it. Now, from having used these razors for a while, I thought the medium plate of the Olly Works would be a good comparison against the 3 plate of the CR7. I kind of knew that the aggressive plate on this one was just more efficient than the CR7 was, and wasn't going to be as good a comparison. And unfortunately, the CR7 does not publish any of their gap or exposure specs for any of their 3 plates. It's just, they call it aggressive, and you just have to take it for what it is. In my opinion, it's about on par with this Meteorite. Meteorite, I'm going to go off the top of my head. I want to say for the medium plate, the blade gap's going to be like 0.74, and then the blade exposure is going to be 0.14 rather. So medium, but like very efficient for being medium. And then I really love the aggressive one as well. Like I like having the variety just from this one razor that you buy with the 3 base plates. So I'll pause right there. I will get relathered on the back of my head. Bust the mirror out. So back to the CR7 for the right side of my head. Yeah, so this one doesn't glide quite like the Olly Works does, and I think that has to do with the finish. I think there's like a slicker coating on the finish of the Meteorite, but there's no friction either. Like this also moves very smoothly. And honestly, with no complaints. Like if you're the type of shaver that prefers not having a lot of blade feel, like you just want to shave and have as much comfort as you can, this is a terrific option. Also the 2 plate, and if you're a really mild shaver, the 1 plate is a fantastic option as well. But again, very decent efficiency, and there's a whole lot of comfort to this razor. So again, some blade feel here on the Meteorite, but no, I don't know. I might call it a draw in terms of comfort. Yeah, this is a fantastic razor as well. Just these 2 specific base plate comparisons probably about a draw in comfort. Feels like about a draw in efficiency. However, the Meteorite, I think just has just a little bit more glide from how from the finishing on the top cap. But with this, I'll rinse and get relathered. I'll be right back for the second pass. All right, back for the second pass. Let's start on the Meteorite side this go around. Yeah, the blade feels just right. Like I wouldn't say this has a ton of blade feel. It just doesn't feel like it hides the blade like the CR7 does. But then again, most razors don't. There's been times where not so much on the 3-plate, but like trying out the 2-plate of the CR7, like I'll have to just pause and double check to see if I properly loaded the blade because I didn't feel it. But again, I'm a huge fan of this Olly Works. If you've been following my channel at all for the last couple weeks, you're probably tired of hearing me say that. But I've compared different base plates of this Olly Works Meteorite to a few different razors, and the outcome's been the same. Like, this is just a fantastic razor, and I think it's my favorite aluminum razor. Certainly for the money, where you're getting multiple base plates at the price of all of its competitors. Yeah. I'll cut over to the CR7 now. And just low blade feel. Just very smooth, very comfortable. This is one of those razors that if I was in a rush or had a blindfold on, I'd be able to pick this up pretty safely. And again, for the amount of comfort, like, it feels like it shouldn't be shaving as close as it is. Well, it's still not the closest shaving razor I have, but again, just the comfort to efficiency and closeness is fantastic. Okay, just move out of the back of the head. I'll stick to the CR7 for a second. And I'm just very comfortably able to move, especially here on the second pass, now that the bulk of my hairs were knocked down in the first pass. Okay. Down on the CR7 side, onto the Meteorite for its final pass. Okay. I think we're all done. I'll rinse off. I'll be right back with my final thoughts. All right, back with my final thoughts. After my 2-pass shave, very surprised to say that I feel like the shave closeness is about a draw. Maybe a little bit closer on the Meteorite side, but like not enough to write home about. I think shave closeness was about on par, as was the comfort overall. Where the Meteorite's going to win is on the days I want a closer shave. This was only the medium plate. There's still an aggressive plate that I can turn to. Whereas the CR7, I was already using the most aggressive plate. So if I wanted more efficiency, I would have to turn to a whole new razor. Whereas this one, I can turn to a different base plate. Comfort, I thought, was about the same. I did notice the Meteorite still had a little bit more glide to it. And as I'm looking at it, I think it's probably just due to, one, the finishing is just a little bit smoother, but two, the top cap has even more rounding to it than the CR7 does. CR7 doesn't struggle with friction like a lot of the other higher end aluminum razors out there. This one's fantastic as well. But this one, just a little bit above in terms of glide. You can't really lose with either in terms of comfort. I just, ever so slightly preferred this one over the 3-plate of the Colonial CR7. If I had to pick one, especially given the variety of base plates, I'm gonna go with the Olly Works. This one's still a fantastic razor, especially if you're the type that doesn't like having a whole lot of blade feel and you want to prioritize, comfort, predictability. You might even want to use the 2-plate on this one to have, virtually no blade feel. For me personally, I really love this Olly Works. This is probably going to be the one that I would go with. This one's staying in my collection and isn't going anywhere either. I like the variety, but if I had to pick one, this is my go-to aluminum razor at the moment. So with that, I know I rambled on about these two razors. I think both of them are really, really just that good. I like this one better than the CR7, but I like the two of these noticeably better than everything else that I've used. So that's the main takeaway here. With that, I'll call this job well done. I know I rambled on quite a bit about the different specifics here, but both are fantastic. I just really, really love this Olly Works. So with that, I'm going to sign off right here. Thank you guys.